I do declare that the world, it's just not fair. And I saw the world with its broken wing, and now I sing, and now I sing.
Episode of Your Will podcast. What a treat I have for you people today. Super Double X-Man, previous Silver Scooter. I mean, I've been a longtime fan of Scott, so I was just thrilled, and we've put all this together within a day or so because I was excited, and I hope that Scott, you'll be excited too at the end. But
yeah,
it's so great to have you here
together fast too, because I think that when there's excitement about a project, you may as well just do everything you can to,
I love it.
Make lightning strike.
There we go. So, Scott, you got this new record that's out, came out in May, Rusted Hues. And we were just talking before we hopped on here about it and just the beauty of it and how it came together. We're going to share all that with you guys, so don't worry. But Scott, my jive usually is to start to rewind in time a little bit. Now, just to let everybody, all the listeners out there, this record marks 30 years that Scott's been creating music and beautiful music, I will add on top of that. So he has a huge catalog, and there's a lot of stuff that's in shelves and drawers that comes out now and then, which is a real pleasure for fans like me to get these little nuggets. But what we're going to look at is how this record came to be, because Scott, you had mentioned that you had written an obituary for Super Double X-Man.
I did.
What was the transition of resurrecting this project that you've been doing for so long? What was the reason behind kind of, all right, I'm kind of reached my goals with what I want to do with this. I'm going to put it to bed. And then what changed in you to want to resurrect it back up?
It's a great question. I'm always writing and creating music and recording. And I was getting close to feeling like, might have an album here, but I'm honestly not sure if I even like the songs. And to just kind of keep reminding people that my music projects exist, I'll get onto a blog project or something. And so I was, I have kind of a time capsule bomb waiting to go off in the garage of just old flyers and T-shirts and stickers and cassette tapes. And I was just starting to go through them and posting on my blog about them. And I got an email back from Allie Wesley, who has been a longtime participant in Super Double X-Man. And she just said, "Oh, God, you're just taking me down this rabbit hole of nostalgia, and I just love it. It'd be so fun to do something together again." I'm like, well, I have all these songs, and honestly, I'm kind of stuck with them, Allie. I don't know if they're good enough to finish. I don't know what to do with them. If you want to collaborate, let's do it. And she and I set out on kind of an ambitious project to maybe rewrite some stuff, create some stuff from scratch. She's a super busy and super creative person, so it seemed like as quick as we were getting the project off the ground, it was like, whoa, maybe this is too much to take on. Right. But what that did was that sort of cracked open the idea of the community that was Super Double X-Man. Because I said, well, Allie, what would we even call it? I wrote an obituary for Super Double X-Man. She's like, well, just call it Super Double X-Man. You can do whatever you want. Right. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. And then I just had some fun with resurrecting Super Double X-Man. I wrote a blog post around Halloween and leaned heavily on Chat GPT to write me a really stupid Hardy Boys mystery type Scooby-Doo grave robbery post. Um,
Hmm.
and then I shared all the songs with Adam Seltzer, who is a Portland music producer and a great songwriter, great individual,
Hmm.
whom I've known for the last 20 years or so, ever since I moved to Portland in 2002. But we were never like close or best of friends or anything. We just knew of each other and respected each other.
Right.
And so to hand them off to him, first I thought, well, I probably won't be able to afford it, and it's hard for me to justify putting money into a project. But the more Adam and I talked, the more I thought, well, I think this is doable. I think we should do it.
Hmm.
And so handing a bunch of songs to Allie, a bunch of songs to Adam, we were able to go through about 19 tunes and say, let's focus on these and call it an album. And it just came together, and the community, and then I thought, kind of rambling here, but in 30 years, there's been a lot of people who have played with the
Totally.
group.
Totally.
And Super Double X Man is a group. It's a community. It's a project. It started out as just me, but it's always been whoever's been close in my circle of friends ever since the beginning.
Right.
And it was just great to reach out to. I was a little disappointed because some people that I reached out to they were hard to get in touch with or didn't write back or whatever. But I was like, okay, I want to try to get as many people who have contributed all the hot guitar licks and keyboard stuff to play on this album somehow. And so we put the finishing touches on it at Adam Seltzer's studio in Portland. And I got Adam Mack, who was the last drummer that played with Super Double X Man, Allie to sing and play flute, Tony Moreno, who was in the last Portland-based live band of Super Double X Man, and he's also played on a couple albums. Just all to come together in Adam's studio, and we put the finishing touches on 12 songs, including re-recording Rusted Hues.
Beautiful song. Beautiful
And
song.
it just all came together.
Kind of a reunion of sorts, eh, Scott? Like,
yeah. Excuse me.
Did that evolve? Like, was that like the more that you started to think about, okay, I'm going to go ahead with this project, like, hey, why don't I? Or was that at the forefront when you were thinking about 30 years of Super Double X Man that you wanted to have that kind of? Because it's curious too, because most of the Super Double X Men records are volumes, right? You have volume 1 all the way up to, what is it, volume 15?
I think I stopped at volume, I don't know, 15 or 16.
Yeah, Sort of Heavy Metal. Was that
That's
the last
volume
one?
12, and then there were a couple after that.
Okay. Okay. But those were kind of later on, right? Like earlier on, I should say. Like, how long has it been since a Super Double X Man release that you put out before Rusted Hues?
It's been exactly 10 years.
Wow.
So 30 years of music with 10 years of, dormancy, I guess.
Right. And in those 10
like
years,
a volcano.
were you still productive? Like, does music have to be a part of your daily existence? Like, do you find yourself needing it at certain times in your life? Experiences happen, days roll by, like that there's a need still inside you to write songs?
Yes. If people listening could look at my face as I was listening to you answer that question, I just wanted to say yes really fast. I play music every day. I work as a music therapist, so I engage with others through music every day. Separate from writing songs, I study jazz piano. During COVID, I experimented with building drum sets out of suitcases. I'm constantly tinkering with music in some way.
Right.
I don't I don't stress about writing songs. Like, I'm not someone who gets writer's block.
Mm.
I just accept that, oh, I'm not really creating or writing music right now, but I'm playing music and pursuing it. And the recording process is such a long, drawn out thing sometimes that, like, oh, I'll sit down for an hour and just listen to this song to see if I can make it sound
Mm.
good.
Right. Right.
That might be the day's music pursuit. Or I'm really learning this. I want to learn this Duke Ellington tune on the piano and see if I can get my, brain and heart to go through my fingers and make the piano do something.
Right.
Um,
Right. And Scott, what's your process for writing songs? Like, when do you feel like you're onto something that you might, see on an album or in a record? Like, what's your process like? And then how do you come to either saying this, I'm onto something, or yeah, I'll shelve that one for a later date? Like, how do you go about, like, you said that you do it like quite regularly. Is this something, I mean, if you're focusing just on songwriting, how does that process go about for you?
I've got snippets of lyrics that I might write down in notebooks.
Mm.
I've got probably hours of voice notes on my phone of something that once upon a time I thought was a good idea. If I'm sitting at a traffic light and I've been like, the news wasn't engaging or something, I might be singing an idea. And I'll just say, I kind of like this melody. I'll just make a voice note really quick and come back to it. But then once making an album starts happening, or once setting up a microphone in my studio at home,
Mm.
creativity tends to steamroll into more creativity.
Right.
So I might be excited about 3 songs, but those 3 songs might make me sit down and write a song in one day that's turns out to be better than the 3 songs I was working on.
Mm.
And when I say better, it just like make me feel better. Like, oh,
Right.
this song resonates to me in a
Right.
way that I thought working hard on these 3 other songs. I thought those 3 other songs were resonating with me, but now those 3 songs led to this one song that's like really resonating with me.
Mm. Mm.
And it's just, music just creates more music.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I love that. I love that.
But it's
And
taken, having a family and a career, and
right.
I've had to really carve out time in my life.
Mm.
I'm sitting in a room right now that I share with one of my kids when they're living with my wife and I.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
this house belongs to my wife. And she was like just 100% full on, just set it up as a music studio.
Mm.
And so it's
That's great.
almost a total square room, so it doesn't sound great, but it's a space that I have, and
Yeah.
I've worked really hard to make it what it is. And I'm lucky. I'm very thankful that
Mm.
I have the space, and there's not always time to do it. So throughout the years, I've always just kept my um, recording environment as simple as I can. So it's always like ready to go.
Right. Right.
Um,
And Scott, if we were to kind of rewind in time a little bit to your early days of starting to become a musician, to coming into that, what I mean, I know a lot about Silver Scooter because I was obsessed, but how did that transition happen from being a person in the world to identifying that music was something that had to be a part of what you did? What were some of those early moments or those turning points in your early life that opened this door of 30 years of writing songs?
yeah, I mean, I've played music since I was 11.
Hmm.
Um, so 41 years.
Hmm. And
And,
counting, and counting.
and, and when I was younger,
Hmm.
I knew I wanted to play music.
Hmm.
I didn't know to what extent. I was also, like we all are when we're young, we're so impressionable, and I thought that I needed to be like a brooding. m- I've always been a melancholy person, but I thought that I needed to be like, don't talk to people, just consume magazines and listen to music that's so far left of the dial that,
Mm.
um, you know. But what I realized when before Silver Scooter, before Super Double X Man, I learned how. I mean, the moment that I realized that I wanted to make music was I went over to a friend's house who played drums and another friend of mine who played bass. And he was working on a jazz chart that he had to do for community college.
Mm.
And I played guitar in the jazz band. And I played through the chart with him, and that went really fast. He just wanted to see if it worked as an exercise. And then I was seriously thinking about selling my guitar to buy like another camera lens or something because I was really into photography.
Right.
And he taught me how to play D, A, and G on my electric guitar, and then solo on the G string with the D string ringing out. And it was like, what? We can like that. It felt amazing.
Mm.
Probably changed my musical life right then and there.
Right.
And
Right.
we would get together every couple weeks and just play those same three chords. And then when I got to college and I met some of the guys that I eventually started Silver Scooter with, Tom Hudson and Sean Camp,
Mhm.
another friend of mine, Jeff Albertson. We sort of just started bands. My buddy Jeff bought a 4-track in 93 or 94. And that was just a huge moment where like, oh, I can write a song myself. I can write the verse, the chorus, the guitar solo.
Mm.
Um, so it's like, the world of making music isn't so like unreachable anymore.
Right.
And
Right.
then groups like Portastatic and Sebadoh and later I would learn even Bruce Springsteen made a record on a 4-track in his
That's
house.
right. That's right. Nebraska.
Um, one of my favorites by Bruce
Amazing record.
Springsteen.
Like
Yeah.
so foundational too. Like I am
Yeah.
amazed that you're mentioning that
So
record. Yeah.
it's like, well, I want to do this too. And I was empowered by that. It was great.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. And what was like actually the first song you ever wrote that eventually made it onto, a release of some kind? Do you remember like those early songs that you started to write?
Yeah. I don't remember what it was called. It wasn't on the first Super Double X Man cassette, although some of the songs that I first started recording on a 4-track became part of that first cassette in 1995.
Mm.
I remember the chord progression, but I don't remember the name of the song.
Mm.
But it was the first thing I recorded on a 4-track. And
Right.
by the time it became a band song, I was in a little trio that we jokingly called Krogan. We wanted to call it the Billy Corgan 4 as kind of making fun of the Smashing Pumpkins,
Right.
but somehow it got, I don't know, changed to Krogan, which is goofy. But somewhere in my garage, there's a cassette
Right. Right.
of the song.
And like what did it feel like? Like how do you how does it make you feel when you know you're onto something with a song? Like, to shelve it or keep it. Like, is it just that it feels good for you? Like
Yeah.
what are those feelings that you could put words to that when like, yeah, like this is gonna work.
Yeah. I think the only way to really describe it is you're going down this path of creating something.
Mm.
The lyrics that match up with the melody that comes up, like evokes something, resonates with something maybe that I've observed in the world or observed in myself. And of course, early on, the songs were very, very like always emotionally driven, but like more like personal and selfish kind of.
Sure.
Because I'm like 19 or 20, and
Sure. Yeah. It happens for sure. Yeah.
But it just feels good. And so that the process of making the music happen becomes the most important thing in that moment, I think. And so it's easy to not think about anything else except creating that song. That's when I know, okay, well, this is a good song to finish.
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
so cool. So cool. And like, I interview like many artists, and recently I've interviewed a couple of just beginning artists, just starting their careers, very young, similar to what you're just describing yourself as, I mean, they tend to be very internalized about themselves and working through stuff, and they often say, I do songwriting so I can get it out of me. I gotta get these feelings out. What kind of advice do you give those starting musicians, kind of like having that experience of the years that you've been doing this, and kind of taking into account we're in 2025 right now, things have changed so much in the music industry over these 30 years. What are some of those words that you could offer to these starting up musicians that have a 4-track, or I guess it's GarageBand now, and or like, I want to do this? What insight could you share with us?
Well, I think like making anything these days, satisfy yourself through the process of making music or art. Make it feel good to you. Try not to do any harm with it to others, and just make yourself feel good. Like if you heard a young songwriter say, I just got to get it out of me. Yeah, get it out of you.
Right. Do it.
And keep yourself healthy.
That's cool.
And
I like that.
And don't forget why you're doing it in that moment.
Interesting. Yeah. And as you evolve, and like this record that you've just put out, like, are you going to go through the same process that you go through every record? Like once it's kind of done. So I have this, artifact that I've created. Has your process for putting it out in the world and shows or podcasts, interviews, like whatever it might be, has that evolved over time for you?
Yeah, because every album is a learning experience, and I'm a slow learner, which is maybe why I have so many albums. Like, there's a lot to learn, so I got more albums to make. So every album, I mean, the game has changed. I mean, when I first started, we were putting up flyers on telephone poles and getting the word out to get people to come out. There wasn't Instagram. Even when Silver Scooter was touring, we didn't have social media.
Right.
We had
telephone poles.
We had telephone poles,
and we're newspapers,
we're like, why is nobody coming to our show? Oh, well, Modest Mouse was here last night playing in the same club, so everybody like came out for that. Like, oh, okay. So that's okay. We learned that we want to tour when bands like Modest Mouse and Death Cab for Cutie aren't also playing the night before. Every opportunity to learn something is amazing. And now with this album, I'm kind of like, well, I don't have a record label. I'm glad I don't have a record label because I answer only to myself.
Yep.
I'm not even crowdfunding anymore, asking people to pay for things in advance. I'm just like, well, nowadays you can make 100 LPs.
Yep.
I work. I have a good job. I can front the money for that. And I want to just do enough to get the word out that maybe I get that investment back. Right. Other than that, I don't have huge expectations for it. Right. This is great. I'm doing a podcast with you right now. This is cool.
Yeah,
This is
it's
the
awesome.
coolest thing happening in my life today.
Me too. I'm loving your stories and all of these. Before we hopped on here too, I was kind of nerding out a bit on or fanning out on your production and stuff. And
Cool.
it's just been really enjoyable to kind of see the history behind these songs that have become iconic in my life. Like I told you before, that Japanese live record that you had put out where you played Counting Rocks and the bangers, the Super Double X bangers. And just that simple record that you put out influenced me so much in my life and what I wanted to do, because it touched me so much. And I guess my question to you is, you said that you were kind of you didn't like talking and you were kind of like, in your space. How do you go from that to standing in front of thousands of people? Or
I've never stood in front of thousands of people.
or whoever many, doesn't matter. But to talk about to sing these songs, because they are so personal. And we were talking about Hold On to Me, a song at the end of this record that's out as of May. How do you get that bravery to open your heart up to the world and let them interpret something that was very close to you and personal, and kind of have to let it go a bit?
Well, I mean, it's a privilege to be able to go play a show and stand in front of one person, two people, 1,000 people. I don't think it's bravery. I think it's just I want to satisfy this urge to do it. There's nothing like singing and getting the sense that your voice is out there, like filling up a room. And like when I'm really singing and I feel like I'm like singing well and it's resonating in my own heart, it's like there's nothing like it. So I don't even play shows that much anymore, but I feel like what few shows I have lined up for the summer, I feel like it's a world tour. I'm really looking forward to it. Playing in
I heard
Portland,
about your world tour.
playing in Pendleton, playing in Moscow, Idaho, and playing in my own backyard, and might go out to Lexington, Kentucky later on this year. But singing in front of people, it's a total privilege. It doesn't matter how many people there are. I'll share a really quick story. Silver Scooter was on their first tour. We were playing in Racine, Wisconsin, in the basement of a Lutheran church. And there were, I think, 7 people, and a few of them might have had their parents with them. And I remember turning around and talking to Tom, who was sitting at the drums, and I was tuning my guitar. And I think honestly, because it was our first tour and one of our first shows of the tour, we were just kind of like, wow, we're in the basement of this Lutheran church in Racine, Wisconsin, and there's really nobody here. And then we're halfway through the set, and this kid raises his hand and asks a question, can you play cup and string? And it's like, yeah. And it's like, from that moment on, I didn't care if I was playing for the toilet in the back room or 7 kids in Racine, Wisconsin, or 500 people in Japan.
Right. Right. That's amazing.
It's a privilege. It's great.
It
feels amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. And did it always feel that way, even at the start? Like even those first shows, like did that feeling always exist every show that you performed? You just felt like it was a privilege to be able to fill the room with your voice, as you said?
I think it's only like getting older that I would look back and call it a privilege. When I was doing it earlier, I didn't recognize it as a privilege.
Right.
But the feeling was there.
Yeah.
I maybe didn't know what the feeling was, how to label that yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes some time. Right?
Yeah.
So as we come to a wrap here, Scott, thanks so much for this. I mean,
Thank you. Appreciate
talking
it.
with you, I know why you're a songwriter, because you're such a good storyteller, and you can lace a few sentences together that are very powerful and make sense.
Thanks.
What do you look forward to? So you're going to do a world tour. You have the record is out. These songs were assembled throughout a chunk of time. Do they go way back, and then some are more modern? Like, could you kind of age the record of the songs, the 12 songs that you have on here?
Well, the songs are all new in that they're not released. Most of them were written in the last 2 years, with the exception of 3 songs on the album were from I call it my Carnation album because I recorded it while house sitting for my cousin in Carnation, Washington.
Oh, fun.
And 2 of those songs are on the album as I recorded them 10 years ago in my cousin's place. And one of them is redone because I've just always loved the song, and it's just kind of grown and expanded. And funny, Allie and I recorded it as a duet on the album, and it was like months later after the album was finished, I'm like, that song's missing a verse. How did that happen? And I'm like, well, okay, whatever. I guess the song got edited and I didn't even realize it. The songs in the live shows this summer, and of course we're jokingly calling it a world tour. Although if you're out there and you want to hear some Super Double X-Man music, reach out. I'll find a way to come to your living room and do it.
Cool.
The songs will all be up to 20, 25 years old. So I think we broke the set into two halves, maybe 8 or 9 songs in each set. And one set is heavily populated by the new album. So 10 years of music right there. And then the other set is kind of like classics. I'm holding up my fingers in quotes.
Classics
that go back to at least volume 4.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that some of these songs will outlive us, and they'll be listened to by our grandkids. You know, like I really think that they have such this timely that they'll always feel relevant. You know, because what you talk about is human stuff, and humans tend to not change. Technology changes, and our house might change, and the weather changes, but humans feel basic feelings. And I think that you have this art of tapping into those and putting words to them that describe these feelings, and through storytelling or direct, you know, simile and illusion and metaphor. But it's been such a privilege to talk with you, Scott, today.
Hey, the privilege is mutual. I really appreciate everything that you just said. And I don't want to say too much after that, because that was a nice compliment. Appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you. And thanks for putting this record out. People go check it out. Catch Scott on his world tour at a spot near you. And get this record, people. You'll listen to it once and you'll start it right over again. And then you'll listen to it again and again. So it's well worth the listen. All the best, Scott. I hope one day our paths cross again. If ever you want to come and just continue this conversation, I think we could just talk for hours and hours. It's just been a real treat. So thank you.
Yeah. This is stuff I can talk about music and how it makes us feel for. Yeah.
Awesome.
Till I'm living in the dirt. Yeah.
That's it. Have a good day, and thank God that you resurrected Super Double X-Man. No more obituaries for maybe a little bit more time and a couple more records or more.
That sounds good. Thank you very much.
doing that to me? Why you doing that to me? What's wrong with me? What's right? How am I supposed to be? How the hell am I supposed to be? What's right? I wanna go home where I wanna be. I wanna see what's right. What's right with me? Hold on. Hold on to me. Hold on to me so I can see all the parts of me you need to see to be believed. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on to me. Ooh, I wanna see. Ooh, I wanna be. Ooh, I wanna see. Wanna see. Hold on to me. 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 Inside, protect me from the walls I built. Accept me for the things I willed, for the things I need to be inside this world, for me to see, for me to feel, for me to be. Accept me for the things I willed for me, the things I need to see the world I need. Accept me for the things I need to be inside this world, for me to see, for me to feel.